Hello, my name is Linda Langeheine. Today, I'd like to tell you about the procedural memory and how it can help you play beautifully in performance situations. And also, we'll take a look at mindfulness and what it can do to get you to that goal. You've practiced long and intelligently on your performance pieces. The concert is coming soon, so you need to check one more thing. Learn to trust your procedural memory. Procedural memory is a type of long-term memory involved in the performance of different actions and skills. Essentially, it's the memory of how to do certain things. Examples of procedural memories are knowledge of how to ride a bike. You never forget that, do you? Or drive a car, tie shoes, how to play scales, or solve a puzzle, and how to walk. You do not need to consciously think about how to perform these motor skills. You simply do them without much, if any, thought. The procedural memory is not conscious and doesn't ruminate, meaning it doesn't think. Now here's the thing. When you are on stage, performing what you've worked on for months, even years, you don't need to consciously think about any of it. If you've done very much deliberate practice, you actually could relax and enjoy the moment, feeling the interpretation unfolding freely. And then you start thinking, what if a string breaks? What if the critic doesn't like your work? What if I botch that icky run? What if I miss the basket? If you've ever performed anything in front of an audience, you've felt it. There's a voice in your head that sabotages you and makes you nervous. It makes you question your performance. You go from the freedom and enjoyment of play to the dangerous realm of judging. Weak performance stems from the same seed, overthinking. Assuming, of course, that you practice diligently, that's a given. Quieting the mind is what brings us back to an essence of play, where we discard self-judgments and allow for self-expression. For most of us, quieting the mind is a gradual process involving the learning of several inner skills. The first skill to learn is the art of letting go the human inclination to judge ourselves and our performance as either good or bad. Non-judgment means letting go of the automatic judgments that arise in your mind. When we unlearn how to be judgmental, it is possible to achieve spontaneous, focused play. The critical step to understand here is that the moment we assign a value of judgment to an action, this is good, that's bad, is the moment we engage in overthinking. Our procedural brain can't do its thing. When left unchecked, the judging mind is taxing and controlling, a real energy and focus killer. This is why we need to learn to be non-judgmental when practicing, so we can let go of conscious controlling thoughts while performing. It can really trip us up. When we practice, we need to know what the end product is supposed to be. That is, how something is supposed to be when we perform. We play a passage and observe. If something doesn't work, we, or our coach, teacher, need to know how to correct it. Then we practice, giving ourselves instructions as we do so. After that, we evaluate again until the desired result is attained. There is no good or bad. This can take lots of time, so you do better if you enjoy the process instead of getting caught up in some end product. It has to be so, it has to be so. Lots of intelligent practice, and lots of it, I mean really, trains the procedural memory. The less fear and doubt embedded in the learning process, the easier it will be to take the natural steps of practice. While performing, we are conscious, but not thinking, not over-trying. A player in this state knows what he wants to happen, but he doesn't have to try hard to get there. It just seems to happen, and often with more accuracy than he could have hoped for. The player seems to be immersed in a flow of action, which requires energy, yet results in greater power and accuracy. The moment we let go and simply enjoy the activity itself, learning and relearning as we go, only then can we accumulate mastery over our skills and ourselves. Here is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness, the non-judgmental awareness or focus on the present moment, allows you to experience and reflect on each moment without viewing and reacting to the situation or moment as positive or negative. Mindfulness improves focus, concentration, and our ability to let go of negative thoughts that can affect our performance. Performers find mindfulness helps them to be process-oriented and less anxious. There are 7 principles of mindfulness. We can tap into a few of these principles when practicing, and especially while performing. Non-judging, non-striving, acceptance, and letting go will help improve the performance experience. Performance mindfulness can help override your body's natural stress response, so you feel more centered, focused, relaxed, and ready. Instead of getting derailed with the higher pressure situations, when you learn to notice your confidence slipping or your hands trembling, then intentionally redirect your focus. With mindfulness, you learn to accept your state instead of fighting it. Take a deep breath and refocus. You can take a few minutes a day in the morning or before you engage in practice to pay attention to your breath, which can bring on a calm and clear state of mind. This is where you practice letting thoughts come and go. Here you learn acceptance of the mind's tendency to think constantly. That is what minds do. During your minutes of sitting still, you learn to let thoughts come and then let them go without expanding on them. So let's get back to the procedural memory and how to let it do its job. Set aside some time during practice when you play without thinking. Have faith in your procedural memory. Have faith that your procedural memory will come through because you programmed it beautifully. If thoughts pop up, and they will, let them go and just be aware of your playing, not judging it, not thinking about what still needs to be done. Just let it flow. This will not be easy, so you need to practice it often. When you are performing, you are now used to letting judgments and thoughts go at will, when and if they pop into consciousness, which could terrify you under performance conditions. You learn to accept what is at that moment. You are able to focus and stay present, not worrying about what has happened or might happen. You are able to calm yourself. You might even enjoy yourself.